Method have one shot left, one game left. They want to start the reverse sweep and turn it around versus Team Dignitas. Otherwise, Team Dignitas is going to the winners finals. Kaldor, what is Method's best chance here, do you feel?
I think that the way they're drafting, I really like this, and they improved from the first game to the second immensely. It's just that against Dignitas, it's incredibly difficult because they force you into mistakes, and they will capitalize on those, and it's very tricky to get around that. I mean, even in the draft, Method left open Deckard, and any team you talk to here tells you straight up Deckard Kane is the support at this point.
Yeah.
But if you take Deckard over Stukov in that last game, you just simply straight up lose, because Stukov was that one linchpin outside of the shoves that simply with the engage that they had in the silence could even threaten a Diablo at the front line at times, or a Sonya. Without those silences, you have absolutely no chance there. So leaving that open was great, but Dignitas didn't take the bait, understood perfectly how they could get those kills. So it's just tough for Method. But at this point, continue what you're doing, because that last game was insanely close.
Well, Team Dignitas, it just feels like they have no weakness. You know, their drafts, they understand that, Trixler. Their kills, they are slaughtering people, and they also so rarely die. I think everybody is less than one death per game, and because of that, the KDAs and the KD ratios are so far apart from Team Dignitas, even versus, you know, Korean teams. And I think part of that is a difference of meta a little bit, a difference of play style. The Korean teams are known for being more aggressive, but where's the weakness?
I don't know, and I think that's the deflating part, right? We're sitting here watching a match like, okay, Method's adapting, they have a position where they can win this, and they've lost. So that's deflating for me as a watcher. As a player, how does that feel to actually be in a spot where you think that you should have that draft? You're in a spot to be able to start winning those team fights. And the thing is, Method just has to kind of just squelch it and go into game number 3 prepared and ready to go. Now, there is this question of, okay, we can actually lose this and go into a loser's bracket. I'm wondering if that's where Method is in terms of state of mind, or if they're going to come into game number 3 and have a fiery draft for us.
Well, game 3 is going to be on either Method's choice of Battleground if they want, or we'll see if they pick first pick again. They picked it last time. They are going to continue with that. Cursed Hollow for Team Dignitas. Immediate thoughts?
This is an odd one. I feel like Cursed Hollow is starting to become almost old Warhead Junction, where you make a curse play with a boss and you just push in and win the game in 8 minutes. So if you can stop that from happening, if you're on the opposing side, if you start to fall behind in tributes, usually we get to that mid to late game, which is where this map can be a lot of fun, but you gotta be wary in the early game.
Currently, I feel it's pretty transparent that at this point, Dignitas, they want to play macro games. They want to play macro maps. They ban out Abathar very early on, but this is now another one where we could see globals, for example, come into play. Because if you look at track record, Battlefield is another map that would be good for Dignitas, but that's also where Method usually plays well, and where ADRD's teams in the past have drafted very teamfight-heavy compositions. But Dignitas wants to have the option to play the macro game on top of that too, so that they have a few more avenues that they can just start flexibly into the game, maybe if the early game doesn't really go their way, so that they can adjust. But this is also a good map for Method. Method can do well. Yeah, I really like what they did last game. They need to force mistakes. This is the way to beat Dignitas here. We need to force them into mistakes. Last game was fantastic for that. Didn't quite work out towards the end, but same playstyle, same ideas, and we could definitely see them take a map here and maybe start something.
Yeah, that forcing mistakes that you talked about that Dignitas was so good at versus Method, you could see in the last game too, just the swifter rotations between lanes, barely catching people at their retreat point at the gate, and having Maiev as a person who can tether someone out seemed to be the difference in being able to get those kind of picks. I wonder if Method will allow Maiev to go over to Dignitas for a 3rd game in a row.
I know we keep going back to the drafting game number 2, but what I like about their adjustment is that they weathered the storm of the onslaught that would be coming from Dignitas and started to make adjustments to be able to handle that. It's just, can you keep going down that route? Do you want to try to go a bit more aggressive into those mistakes? I want to see, again, Method playing Murden. It's when Bad Benny is at his best, when he gets the flanks that he wants, when he gets the ages he wants. Maybe take away a Maiev too, because that containment disc has stopped Diablo in his lightning breath and has also stopped the flanks from Bad Benny.
I mean, I said it in the draft in game number 1. I was a bit surprised to see Stitches banned out over Maiev, and I still think that that holds true, because we saw so many opportunities for kills, and especially against Phoenix, created by the Maiev and Stuka synergy. But they're already shaking things up a bit for game number 3. While they are targeting tanks in game 1, game 2, they are now going for a bit of a different style, which opens up Urel as a first pick for them. So far, they let Urel go over to Ubi, and we discussed going into the match how much of a linchpin Urel oftentimes is for both of these teams, for Thero and for Ubi. But now with more tanks open, you can give Dignitas their first choice. They go for Diablo, but you still have Garrosh and Muradin available.
To take away the Maiev. Good adjustment here. Keep it away from Team Dignitas, and we know that Method can run their own Maiev. They also add a little bit more firepower, too. Bringing out the Karazim as a third pick.
And that Karazim could actually lead us into a Garrosh over Muradin here. I mean, normally you would expect to see Muradin in the setup right now, but with the Karazim, you can, and also with Maiev, you can try and isolate a target and then use a 7-sided strike. So there's a little bit of wiggle room for them, and that allows them to leave the tank open at this point, because traditionally you would see Dignitas trying to think, okay, what tank are they going for, and ban that out. And with the setup, Dignitas actually bans a tank, not quite the one that I expected, but Anubarak is of course another threat with how aggressive that lineup of Method already is.
I like your line of thought there of moving into Garrosh. With Diablo Shadow charging in, he has to be a bit more careful because Garrosh can actually interrupt it mid-charge and toss him into the back line, then suddenly that 7-sided strike comes online. For bans over here on Method, any supports here? Maybe take away the Stukov, which has been pretty important for Dignitas the last couple of days.
There's a Stukov follow-up, there's a Decker Keen follow-up, but
Like
going
Blaze.
to take out Blaze, which is going to be fairly limiting to Wubby. Trying to focus on him. They've already taken away his Urel, which is a key point there.
It's just really interesting to me how far a lot of the supports have now been pushed down, especially considering that heading into the tournaments, teams echoed that there's 1-2 supports that everyone wants to aim for, so we could have seen a lot more attempts of trying to get those early and the second one out. Not quite what we're seeing here, it's more the front line that teams are targeting. And we have Uther. First of all, Dehaka as the global. I said that earlier, Cursed Hollow as a pick is another macro map, so that's another tool that Dignitas now has in the later stage. But Uther as the support here, which is super cool. I love seeing that they're switching it up a bit, and I'm really curious to see how this is going to influence the last pick.
Do you think it goes further than just making sure you have a Divine Shield to protect Raynor from the Maiev dive? Is there Maiev, Ural, and Karazim?
I mean, you look at Method and you realize, okay, they have full dive.
Oh!
But oh my gosh, Tyrael and Illidan come out for game number 3. At least Method's gonna have fun in game number 3. But yeah, the idea is, okay, we see 3 targets on the opposing side. They're obviously wanting to take us out, blow us up. We don't know how they're gonna round out their draft, but if we can see a little protection, a little bit of cleanse, we'll have all of our fronts saved. That's why the Uther comes out here. But Method, they are going all in on this.
Yeah, no range damage, just full on rushing over them, trying to bring the pain train here. And I actually think it's really, really cool to see them from the end. Zeratul to shut a lot down here, and the Divine Shield can help him out too. But this is an awesome draft. This is going to be a super fun game to come.
Zeratul automatically makes Illidan be limited in his full engagements. If he goes a little bit too far, you just wormhole in, drop the VP, and then you kill Illidan.
And you have the interaction with Sanctification and Void Prison, of course, as well. So that's another one where he can shine.
Yep.
Are you feeling like this is a Metamorphosis game? This is going to be a hunt to try to follow the Dahaka as a global?
It's a bit interesting. I think it's going to wait a bit on what Uther's going to do here too. If you have Metamorphosis, you can of course dodge Dehaka when he goes in and tries to hit the isolation of the drag. So that's a big tool. The problem is if you go into Metamorphosis and try to have more survivability in the team fight, you are lacking the pseudo global that would allow you to mirror Dehaka on the map.
All right, well, this is it. We've got a Tyrael Illidan for Game 3. Can it be enough for Method? That's what we're going to find out. Over to you, casters.
Team Method is winning the hearts and minds of the audience. When Tyrael and Illidan got locked in, the cheer was freaking amazing. I'm excited to see this. They're laying it all on the line. A lesser team would be more thinking about the lower bracket, but they think they can pull off the reverse sweep.
With the quintuple melee, Arthas is wondering why no one phoned him. The answer is because he's not in the meta. Ooh. But either way, I know it's sad, but either way, this is what Team Method have decided to put their hopes in for the upper bracket as we are heading into game number 3 on Cursed Hollow.
Over on the left side, up 2-0 in his best of 5, we have Team Dignitas. Zalia's on Uther, Poik is playing Raynor, Snitch is going to be sneaking around on Zeratul, Wubby's on Dahaka, and JPL will be looking to shadow charge with Diablo.
And ladies and gentlemen, with their backs against the wall, it is going to be Nick on Urel, Athero on Illidan, ADRD on Maiev, Bad Benny on Tyrael, Curson on Karazim. Give it up for Team Method!
You know, Tetra, it's funny. Going into the draft, we saw the Uther get picked up, and you and I were theorizing maybe we're going to see Genji at the back end of the draft. He can go in and nuke someone on the back line. Team Method was like, well, what if we don't have a back line? What if we just go all melee and jump in with Tyrael? We know this team loves to go for these oddball strategies. ADRD, this is his comp. It says his name all over.
When Zeratul hits level 16, though, that's going to be a nightmare. If he gets everyone grouped up after that Sank expires, that's going to be just gorgeous. Uther, though, you're against multiple melees. What do? Hammer of the Lightbringer. More crowd control, lock him down, make sure that Maiev and Illidan have a very difficult time.
Zelly is like, easiest talent choice of my life. The value is going to be exponential. Rotations, Bad Vinny looking to see if someone wants to go down to the bot lane. Karazim's going to help themselves to the vision. The macro play is going to be important early and often in this battleground. The first tribute is going to be in a top portion of the map. We already see Karazim moving over to pick up the siege camp. Should this become a prolonged fight, they do have the Haka to cancel out the overall macro.
Illidan with Battle Assault, more of a team fight style here. No immolation for sneaky split push. And Transcendence coming in for Karazim. This is a team that wants to fight grouped up with Tyrael's team shields, the upgraded team shields at level 1. Karazim's Transcendence. This is all about a grouped up team fighting style. I would not be surprised to see Gifted and Naru maybe on Yorel for even more team sustain.
I'm with you on that. I would
the
not
arm
at all
would
be
still be pretty
surprised.
It's all melee.
Yeah. 7-sided strike is almost going to be the guaranteed pickup there. You have the added sustain from Transcendence, so you're able to go ahead and blow somebody up on the percentage base. Diablo, Shadow charges in. It's going to be a nice opportunity. Siege Camp is going to get picked up. Snitch over on Zeratul is going to do the same just now. And so far, both of these teams are kind of playing it by the numbers. They understand their overall positions, but Method, I feel like the onus is on them to be aggressive with this comp.
I would agree with you. I mean, just look at it. It's got so much melee. We still see friend or foe from Athero. No, it was super all-in aggressive style here. As level 4 is here. Is Yorel going to go with the full team armor because they're probably going to be grouped a lot. There it is. Fantastic. And we see the hero stalker for Wubby, who turns out getting stalked himself as he has to back up from Tyrael, who takes a little bit of damage, teleports into Tara, he's trying to dodge the rest of the heroes. He's still sustaining, though. Transcendence and his self-shield keep him alive.
Somehow Bad Vinny manages to stay alive. That was an awkward engagement. Right as Method goes in, we see Team Dignitas show up with Snitch, and oh no, they're not done yet. Bad Vinny, with 25% of his health, queued into towers and trying to escape Zelia. But oh no, Yorel is going to get taken down in the top lane?
Poik just 1v1 Nick. Neat.
You hate to see it.
That's cool. People are like, oh no, Yorel wins every lane. Rainer's like, hold my assault rifle as he begins burning down ADRD right now. Dig going to take the first tribute of the game. No contention at all. Nice and smooth.
That is not going to help out the overall morale on the side of Team Method. Rainer taking down Yorel. That's not how you want this quintuple melee composition to fare in the earlier portions of this game. Right now we see Uther rotating over to start up their bruiser camp. They should be able to get some value off of that if they get an actual team fight, because if Method gets picked off again, they might see the next tribute for free again.
So they're getting more stacks. ADRD burning through this camp, even going to get a little bit of help from Curson. Once again, help from Transcendence, sustaining them through this camp with the greatest of ease. As both teams going to mirror each other there, both teams mirroring each other in terms of XP. Once again, Yorel back in top lane with Rainer. So a quick little mirror there. Going to be playing a little bit more cautious after suffering so much poke. Kind of surprised Rainer, after seeing how much damage he was doing, didn't take the Behemoth armor just to gain something out of that. But this time, the armor he's going to get dove on. This makes a lot of sense.
Tetra, the road to level 10 is going to be so important for Team Method. This composition, the full merits of it are definitely going to come online once they have their R keys. They're just not going to be able to make the same type of plays beforehand. So how much they can even things out on the way to Heroics is going to be very important for how they fare into the mid and late game. The next tribute is going to show up in about 10 seconds. A good amount of damage on the JPL. There's the Shadow Charge. And then the bungee cord pull. We see Bad Vinny trying to body block. Eats a ton of damage. He's going to be able to teleport out. Team Dignitas respond to that engagement.
Fantastic CC train from Dignitas there, keeping Tyrael locked down. He was just able to teleport out. Good job by Bad Benny there. But with that amount of control and that much damage done to Benny, are they even willing to fight over this tribute now?
And they're posturing for it. Wubby's going to step out there. He says hi, emerges from the brush, lands the drag on the Curson, but Maiev is there on the flank. A lot of action going back towards his middle fort wall, though. Bad beating the crew force back point, and JPL. Wubby rotates in, comes out of the bush with the movement speed. The stun from Uther. Tyrael is getting trait value or not.
Explodes onto Wubby, does a little bit of damage and cleans a single minion. As Nick's going to once again make his way back to top lane, continuing to soak XP. Kill count so far in favor of Dignitas, but Method, their aggressive style, They would love to, if possible, try and get level 10 before the next tribute, because obviously that would be a cursed tribute. So this is where they're going to have to start to actually start making the play. They're halfway through level 8, Dignitas already at level 9, and they are soaking all 3 lanes. It's exactly what they have to do to bring themselves back in.
Well, we saw there was a huge gap in Team Method composition. Oh, no, another huge gap is going to be the Soakability in a bot lane as Illidan gets blown up. I was going to point out that Tyrael being away from Maiev means that hard engagement is just not going to be there, but it's also not going to be there if someone rotates down and ganks your melee.
I mean, Bobby perfectly predicted that move by Illidan, easily able to land that drag tongue as level 10 is hit for Team Dignitas. 3 kills to 0 as level 10 is available. Isolation and Void Prison, Lightning Breath. There is the Banshee. Uther, though, he's actually got a pretty flexible option here because they're all melee.
Cheekily enough, if Xayah goes for the Divine Storm, that will make my morning so far. Snitch rotating in, already kind of chunked down. If they find him, that could be a blow-up target. Level 10 is not yet here. Team Method kind of laying it all on the line before they get their own heroics. They do not want to deal with the first curse of this game.
Trying to soak it as best they can. They're delaying using Yrel, using this little wall bit. Dahaka tunneling in, joins his team, trying to zone away, give them the opportunities for that channel, and they will get it. This is going to be a curse just as Ted is being hit by Method. They try it as best they can to zone away and get for that denial play, but in this case, Dignitas, level 10, too scary.
Exceedingly ambitious. That's kind of defined this team and some of their macro decisions. I think that was another instance where they were probably biting off more than they could chew. They were better served just going to get level 10 and prepare to defend for the curse. If they lost heroes, that would have been a huge snowball effect. And the Warden's Cage is used entirely as a form of disengagement. ADRD looks shook.
Yeah, he was getting closed in on by 3 members, so it's a very reasonable idea here, but it's still a long corner. 100 seconds to wait for that to return. The rest of his team, though, being very patient here with their level 10s, as we see Tyrael taking a little bit of damage. Might have to quick pick Sank if he's not careful, but he's able to pull back. Maybe not. Quick pick Sank as he moves back. He's getting stun locked. Divine Storm! Down goes Tyrael.
The Divine Storm. Xayah makes his heroic choice at the right moment. If they was going to try to clean things up and turn it around, but Curson with low health could step forward. No mana, though, so if this becomes a longer team fight, it's gonna get rough. There's the Maiev yank. Perfectly timed burrow on Wubby. Best solo laner in the game, showing it right there. Karazin gets blown up, and Thero's gonna be the next target. 3 heroes down now on the side of Team Method.
Do you like stuns? We don't care, says Dignitas, as they drop every single one onto Method, completely denying the heroic from Tyrael, killing him off before he could use it, from Karazin killing him off before he could do it. Illidan gets the Metamorphosis off and still goes down. The CC train from Team Dignitas is a one-way ticket, and it sends you straight back to the Hole of the Storms.
If you haven't seen any of these players on the side of Team Method, you would think their name is stunned with how much we see that word over their health bar. This coordination and lockdown is amazing from Team Dignitas. The snowball advantage continues to show up here. We see Team Dignitas come away with this boss. With this bottom fort already claimed thanks to that curse, they're looking at bottom keep wall. If they get a takedown or two, we could be looking at a sub 10-minute game.
There's a siege camp available as well that they can probably pick up if they really want to hardcore push this. As we see Method going to grab a counter push Bruiser camp to try and get themselves some kind of map pressure. But with Divine Storm back off cooldown, everything's available except for Metamorphosis in the entire game right now. I think it says for talent lead, they are going to absolutely look for the front wall. That's going to get taken down with the grace of ease. Now it's about not dying in a counter engage. It's exactly what's happening as Illidan's getting wrecked. CC trade so good. Metamorphosis not off cooldown yet. Seven-sided does some damage. Divine Storm, and it's a massacre, Haloran.
Oh no, this is an absolute disaster for Team Method. I think in EU guys call it the rubbish bin. Whatever you want to call it, that's what Team Method's getting thrown into right now. It's hard to respond to a siege when you're quintuple melee. This bottom keep is going to get taken down at no charge. But Team Dignitas, they don't see an opportunity in the game here. Apparently.
Cooldown's too low. Metamorphosis up. Sanctification up because once again it was denied killing Tyrael before Sank for the second time. I mean, if that situation is still not worth it, even though you have been denying every single time, it's not worth taking the risk of going down.
Over the life of this tournament, this decision by Team Dignitas, I'm wondering how much of an impact it's going to have on Team Method. If they lose this game, this is a long time to have a low morale, to be on the defensive, to feel like you have no options. Can they bounce back from this if they get knocked down to the lower bracket?
It's a wonderful question, and one we would have to wait and see if Method cannot bring this game back once again. If they can actually do it, their wombo is obscene. It is absolutely absurd, but right now, there is, like you mentioned before, one word that completely shuts it down, and it is stunned. That Sank has got to come down earlier, and that's a weird sentence to say.
Well, not only have they not really needed Divine Shield, but the Divine Storm is the perfect counter to an entire melee composition. You want to step in here and drop the Warden's Cage? I will stun all of you. We've got Diablo and Dahaka afterwards also to follow it up. Rainer's having a field day.
You think we want to leave the cage? No, how silly. We like it in here. It's where you are. As we see Method right now, they're cleaning lanes, grabbing experience. It's 16 to 13. Talent advantage for Dignitas. A little bit of a duel in bot lane for Yrel and, for Maiev and the Dahaka. We see Dignitas grabbing their opponent's boss because they can.
Why not? They can help themselves any portion of the map right now. Level 13 and a half here, 16 and some change for Team Dignitas. Why not go for this boss? They can make a push, but Bad Benny, they look to sniff this out. Without their 16 tier advantage, they might feel like they're running out of options.
Tyrell says hello. Banshee very nearly dies, but Sapphires efficient game by Kirsten, who dives forward. There's the Sank. This time down, but VP shuts it down.
The Wombo, there's the Void Prison. The follow-up damage. Poik is going to find himself up on the front line. Gets taken down first in the beginning portions of the team fight. Method hanging on by a thread now. 2 heroes down on the side of Team Dignitas. Suddenly, Method roaring back to life, showing signs of it. They're going in. Athero's able to dash over the wall on ADRD. That was insane.
The Brendel throw is clutch. The shield from Benny keeping them going as ADRD pokes from over the wall as best he can, but the health bars aren't going down. The boss is leashed, but 3 catapults in the bot lane means Method, this fight's over. But they trade up. They actually win the fight in a 2-for-0.
Exceedingly ambitious. The Team Method play that we see so often. It works out for them. You go in there over a boss down your 16 tier, the way this game has gone with an all melee composition, that was a low percentage chance of success. It could have obviously been worse, but to come away with a few takedowns, that has to be huge for their morale.
Comeback XP, it's something. They lost the tribute, but they will actually. They killed it really fast. They're going to be able to gain this boss here. Didn't just no way they can be able to rotate for this, but they've managed to defend bot lane. Oh, actually, this is a little slower than I thought. Uh-oh. Zeratul on the way. Tyrael scouts. And okay, boss will be taking the Zeratul dives it. Zeratul does not dive it. Diablo does, though.
There's no Void Prison. 7-sided strike. Goes down. The boss is going to get snapped up, but at what cost? ADRD is getting roasted along with the rest of the members of Team Method. That's 2 down. Overpower. Curson is able to dash out afterwards. Athero trying to get the heck out of dodge. Divine Storm is going to whip, but they still get Illidan.
Curson's low, they're still chasing it. Banshee dashes away last second. Boss is taken. A fantastic play by Maiev there, being played by ADRD there to pull everyone off the boss point, which was a really nice little play, but their heroics are so on cooldown. This is a combo by Method that really only works late game because afterwards you have 100-second cooldowns on Metamorphosis and Sanctification, for example, and of course Warden's Cage.
Cedra, I'm so happy for Curson. Could you imagine dying to the Raider?
It's scary.
Able to get out of there, so, you know. But the boss is going to get picked up here. This is another situation where Team Method, if they lose this tribute, they're going to be cursed again. They are going to have level 16, but the timer is going to be short. This boss getting pushed down and the bot lane straight to the core. Right now, we see something of a checkmate position here from Team Dignitas.
Nyx clearing up catapults, just trying to relieve some pressure on that bot lane. The tribute is taken. This is going to allow them to defend the bot lane. But this is the second time Dignitas is going to be pushing in with a boss. This time it's going to be full health with no keep, and the Siege Giant camp once again taken. Metamorphosis, the only heroic not available for Method, but that's a big one.
The last time we saw Team Method trying to stop a push, the only thing to stop was them. They dive in on the back line, rooted, stunned, Illidan. Athero can take his hands off the keyboard with how much lockdown we just saw. Tyr's going to get blown up next. Close up, though. The Void quick get away. Zeratul is going to end up getting nuked. Trade value at last.
Trade value and absolutely destroyed. We saw that Divine Storm shutting down the Sanctification for the 4th, 5th time. It's something absurd with the isolation to follow it up to completely prevent that. And that is Dignitas moving on to the core.
Team Dignitas dealing with standard compositions, dealing with wild ones as well. Team Method laid it all on the line. They took the fight to Team Dignitas, but at critical moments, they just weren't able to pull it off. They got some takedowns. That was probably their best performance, in my opinion, even though Infernal Shrines ran long. But still, Team Dignitas, they look ready for everything.
Team Dignitas, they look terrifying. They take the 3-0. They'll be moving on to the upper bracket to play against the winner of Team Freedom versus Leftovers. Team Method, they will have to fight their way through the lower bracket. But like you said, there were moments of brilliance in that series by them.
I think right now we're looking at 3 regions in this Western Clash. There's NA, there's EU, and then there's Team Dignitas. They're just playing at a whole different level. Their drafting acumen is insane. The idea to go for Uther, we haven't seen them in the entire tournament. You and I were like, oh, they might be cheeky enough to go for Divine Storm, but they had the presence of mind to know that that was going to be the exact perfect answer to that all-melee composition. I love how this team plays this game.
Same here. That was just a beautiful shutdown play by Team Dignitas, denying any sense of an effective team fight by Method. Method, their comp though, that's a superb comp. I think against some other support like Mafia and maybe with Twilight Dream, but against a lot of other supports, that comp might have worked.
I definitely agree. A lesser team would have fallen to that. I 100% feel that way. Team Method, they're going into the lower bracket for their sake. I hope that their morale is not lowered at all. They played amazingly well. Team Dignitas, I said that they bled early. I was completely wrong on that. EU guys, by the way. But Team Method, they showed so much promise and potential there. I definitely think we could see them make a run through the lower bracket.
There is absolutely no shame in going down to Team Dignitas. But speaking of Team Dignitas, let's head over to Gilly and Friends where they have Snitch ready for the interview.
Thanks so much, Tetcher. I do have Snitch here, along with Caldor and Trixler back. Snitch, congratulations on your clean 3-0 win over Method. Shines went a bit long. How are you guys feeling about that one?
I think we felt confident on Shrines. Their comp was really, it did one thing, which was win the Shrines. So, and even in that time, we were still contesting Shrines very heavily. Like, we even won one, I think. Like, I think we felt very confident throughout the game. It was just one of those games that was going to take forever, which it did. But we all remained calm and focused, and I think that's what led to the victory.
Well, Method is such a difficult opponent to try to figure out a game plan for going into draft because they draft things like what we saw in the last game. What do you guys do to prepare for a match versus Method?
I think we as a team are just very flexible in our players and picks. So when it comes to playing against Method, I think we're not as affected as another team might be. Okay. For example, like, you know, we're able to play things like the Zero 2, I think, very confidently, which fit very well into their draft. I may have accidentally almost clicked Zul'jin, but that didn't happen. We managed to pick Zero 2 and it worked out. That was a bit of probably the scariest part of that game was almost misclicking in the draft.
Was pretty scary. I would say the Divine Storms were especially scary for Method too. Yeah. Caldor, do you have questions for Snitch?
Let's talk about the last game a bit, because they go for that full melee composition. They want to force fights with Maiev in the cage and then use the Sanctification, and we saw you guys interrupt that over and over again. What was your priority in the team fights? What were the calls and comms? What did you look for, Tyrell in particular? Did you try to pick someone else off, or what was the priority of what you're trying to shut down there?
I think our general game plan was if we stack, which sounds weird against Maiev and Battered, but if we stack, they can't really do anything because we had Lightning Breath and we had Zero 2 Cleaves eventually. Like, we had certain, Reyno has really good self-peel. We had so many tools to stay alive, so our aim was just like try and shut down the Sanctification. Worst case, if we don't shut it down, we just Void Prison it, which is kind of our game plan. So either we interrupted the Sank and we just win the fight very quickly, I think, or we would Void the Sank, wait it out, and then have Lightning Breath and the tools that we had to be able to close it out.
Now that we've had a day and a half of competition, who is a team that you think could actually give you guys a run for your money? Because I thought Team Liquid and Method would be those teams, and Team Liquid's gone, and Method, well, we just saw that. So what do you think?
Am I allowed to say Leftovers?
You're allowed to say it. You can.
Ooh, Leftovers are scaring me, man. It's Mopsio. He's always here, and he's chasing us down.
I mean, it would be a reflection of the last Western Clash.
Exactly.
Where Zell's got the grand finals against you guys. So
it's always Mopsio. He's always behind us, one step.
Okay.
Yeah, Leftovers are looking very solid. I mean, even Heroes Hearth, though they dropped down, you know, they looked very confident against Liquid. Even Freedom looked very good, you know, in the games that they won, and they had some very creative drafts as well, like bringing back the Tracer and things like that. Okay. You know, kind of styles that we might not be familiar with, but I think we're still very confident against all of our opponents.
Well, you will be facing either the you will be facing the winner of Team Freedom and Leftovers. So who do you think is going to be there and why?
I mean, it's tough to not say Leftovers, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they've crushed NA #1, so this should be easy pickings for them.
It's 100% that.
I mean, they looked very, very solid. Like, you know, as a team, they're very, very aggressive. They play a very decisive style, and it feels like it was very, very hard for Heroes Hearth to adapt to. And I feel like all the other North American teams are still not as good as Heroes Hearth, you know. So just based off that information, I've got to give it to Leftovers.
All right. Well, congratulations again on that 3-0 win. You're safe till tomorrow, and thanks for joining us for the interview, guys. We'll be back with the Leftovers versus Team Freedom. Stay tuned.
the Dwarf Toss.
He's going.
Gets stunned immediately, and then Wubby jumps on the BFG. He's going to airball and go by right to left. Bad Benny on the back line. He's trying to make something happen.
The Twilight Dream was beautiful. Bad Benny finally taken down as Hammer's forced back up. Snitch finds himself alone on the island, but he's able to get back to his team. Takes the boat, and Athero locks down and picked off.
It's deleted off the map.
Poik is getting zoned at least a little bit by Benny, but it's not doing enough. The Lightning Breath, though, is pretty effective here with the Dragon Queen as well. We're going to see Method try to use this to race down the timing. Snitch goes a bit forward and is getting destroyed by Method.
Method, they're not out of this one yet. They're ahead on a defender count. They could very well come away with this bad boy. 1-for-1 so far. Low health bars. JPL Wubby, they turn it back around. We see Alex Strauss hit the skies for the Addis Estate. Bad Benny, he's hanging out in the back line. Can he find Poik? He's mashing at EQ for the overpower. Doesn't even need it. Another takedown in favor of Team Method. The next team fight could decide this game. On both sides, a huge condemn. The silence to follow up. The BFG isn't even necessary for Phoenix to get wiped off the map. JPL is low. Bad Benny used the lightning grip. Containment disc is going to lock in Athero. Bad Benny's going to be the next target. He starts to back out, gets himself sustained. A shadow charge on Azalea. Not going to be able to convert there. We've seen them in this situation before. They can make something happen.
Expulsion zone used again. It's 22-32 in favor of Dignitas as once again Method move forward. The health bars are dropping low here for Dignitas. They get the Punisher, but have they been on board they can do? Athero has dove deep here, but it's all down to this. Aloran Lightning Breath on the core. They're going to try and take this down.
The shield vanishes. The core down to 51%, but oh no, they're going to lose Phoenix. Core down to 24%, 8%. Team Method, they've done it.
Dignitas, the catapults won the game. Yikes indeed. Wait. Wait. Pick sank if he's not careful, but he's able to pull back. Maybe not. Pick sank as he moves back. He's getting stunned off Divine Storm. Down goes Tyrael.
The Divine Storm. Zalia makes his heroic choice at the right moment. If they was going to try to clean things up and turn it around, but Curson with low health could step forward. No mana though, so if this becomes a longer team fight, it's gonna get rough. There's the Maiev yank. Perfectly timed burrow on Wubby. Best solo laner in the game, showing it right there. Karazin gets blown up, but Thero's gonna be the next target. 3 heroes down now on the side of Team Method.
Okay, Boss will be taking this. Zeratul dives it. Zeratul does not dive it. Diablo does though.
There's no Void Prison. 7-sided strike goes down. The Boss is gonna get snapped up, but at one call, KDRD is getting roasted along with the rest of the members of Team Method. That's 2 down. Overpower. Curson is able to dash out afterwards. Athero trying to get the heck out of dodge. Divine Storm is going to whip, but they still get eligible.
For Method, but that's a big one.
The last time we saw Team Method trying to stop a push, the only
thing
to stop was them. They dive in on the back line. Rooted, stunned, Illidan. Athero can take his hands off the keyboard with how much lockdown we just saw. Zero's going to get blown up next. Close up, though. The Void to get away. Zeratul is going to end up getting nuked. Trade value at last.
Trade value and absolutely destroyed. We saw that Divine Storm shutting down the Sanctification for the 4th, 5th time. It's something absurd with the isolation to follow it up to completely prevent that. And that is Dignitas moving on to the core.